This is J. Krishnamurti's fifth discussion with teachers and students at Brockwood Park, 1973.
What should we talk about this morning?
You suggested the other day that we talk of meditation.
Do you want to talk about meditation? Why? Come on, so why?
I don't understand it.
You want to understand it? Should we really talk about it? Does it really interest you to find out what it's all about? You know, most religions have maintained that there is a God. The Hindus in India have many gods. And in this country, though there's only one God, but there is the images and the churches and all that. Not that there are not images in India and in the Far East and so on, but everywhere man, from the very, very ancient of times, has said there must be something much more than this life, than this confused, sorrowful, miserable life, in which there is disease, corruption, confusion, constant battle with one another, and there is death. But beyond all this, they said there must be something enduring, eternal, not of time and so on. Perhaps few have experienced that, have realized that quality of a mind which is incorruptible, which is timeless. But the organized religions, Christianity, Hinduism is not so organized, nor Buddhism, but Islam, they made that into a belief. I believe in God. I believe that there is a state of mind, which is merely a conceptual idea, a concept.
I didn't quite understand. You said a few sentences ago, you said, sort of religion or something?
Huh?
I didn't understand what you meant by an organized religion.
Organized religions, all right. When you are born in the Western world, you're baptized, aren't you? Why? You are taken to the church. You read about Jesus. There is the priest. There is the cathedral. There is the church. All organized various forms of propaganda to make you believe in certain things. That's organized belief. Now, but in spite of that, and also including that, man has always wanted to find out if there is something more than this daily, monotonous, lonesome, dreary, painful existence. We're all talking about that. And perhaps some, without belonging to any religion, to any organized conceptual ideas, perhaps realize that. Others have said, to find that out, you must believe, you must lead a moral life, you mustn't cheat too much, you must not be hypocritical too much, you must help your neighbor if you can, love your neighbor as much as you do yourself if you can, and so on. They have laid down rules. But few have followed it, and through those sanctions or the edicts of the dogmas of the church or of religions, few have escaped from that and tried to find if there is a real thing. In the East, whole of India, Burma, Far East, and the whole of the East believes that meditation is the way to reality. You understand? That you must meditate. That is, they say, you must control your thought. That's the first thing they say. If you cannot control your thought then wanders all over the place. It's never quiet. It's never peaceful. Therefore, control it by will. Sit very quietly without moving your body. Sit absolutely still, physically, and see if you can control your thoughts. And if you can control your thoughts so completely, then your mind will be quiet. Then perhaps you will realize something which is not of time, which is not put together by thought. That is the average general idea of meditation. Right? You have understood that? Huh? Right? You know, when one is a Brahmin in India, you know what that caste is? The special, supposed to be highest aristocratic and intellectual and more, all that. Especially the boys at the age of 7, or perhaps a little earlier, they go through a ceremony where the father sits on one side and the priest sits on the other, and he is taught various chants, and he is taught to keep absolutely still, physically. Never move during that period of chanting. So, it happened to me and various Brahmin boys in the old days, but I doubt if it takes place anymore now. So you meditate early in the morning, sitting very, very quiet, but the mind is not yet, you understand, is too young, too shallow. At early in the morning, midday, and at sunset, 3 times a day, repeating various chants and trying to be very quiet, still, and if you can, control your thought. That's also considered meditation. There are various types of methods or systems which help you to control your mind. The idea being that you must have a very, very still mind, so that in that stillness, perhaps there may be a perception of something that is unimaginable, unnameable. There is the Zen form of meditation, which is in Japan and China. Then there are the various forms of it in India, many, many ways, but all directed, all insisting that the mind must be absolutely quiet. And in Western world too, there is the whole concept of contemplation. There are the monks who never speak, take a vow of silence, discipline themselves endlessly, be absolutely quiet, and so on and on. So there are these many, many forms of meditation. The basic idea being that you must have a very quiet, still mind. And you see the necessity of it, do you? Why you should have a very quiet mind. Do you understand that? Why do you think you should have a quiet mind?
Otherwise, a change can never happen. A change can never happen otherwise.
Discuss with sir. Oh, discuss. Let's talk about it. Why you should have a quiet mind?
Well, it would seem if your mind wasn't quiet, that it would never be open in a way. It would always be preoccupied with thoughts or whatever was in it.
Yes.
If
you'd never, if your mind was never quiet, then, say for instance, if you were in a class or something, and you'd be way off in the other part of the world.
Imagining.
Yes, and you wouldn't be in the place you were in.
If your mind was chattering while I'm talking, would you be listening? If you're looking out of the window, you're paying attention to something while someone is talking, would you be hearing him? No, would you? You wouldn't, would you? So, to listen, to observe, you must have a fairly quiet mind, mustn't you? Now, how do you set about to bring that quiet mind? They said, sit very straight, breathe in a certain way, and control your thought. That is the basis of almost all meditations. You've understood now? Because if you sit straight, the blood flows easier to the head. If you slouch like that, it's more difficult, right? So they say, sit in a certain posture. In India, they call it lotus posture, that is, cross your legs. And first of all, control your body. Sit in that position, absolutely still. Can you do it? Not necessarily in that position, but can you keep your body absolutely quiet? Have you ever tried it? You wanted to discuss meditation, not I. So can you keep your body absolutely quiet? And be aware, know when your fingers are moving. When the body is tense. Say, I must be quiet. You follow? That's not quietness. Right? And to keep your eyes completely still, the eyeball, completely still. Right? Try it sometime. Then the question is, how to steady the mind, which is always chattering, wandering all over the place, remembering, contriving, imagining. How to keep that machinery completely still. How do you do it? They said control, right? Control your thought. Now what happens? What are the implications of control?
There must be a controller.
That means what? Go on, investigate it.
If you're going to control your thoughts, who is the person that's going to control?
That's right. Who is the person that controls?
Are you asking?
I'm asking. Of course, there's a discussion.
So your mind is trying to control itself.
Huh?
Your thoughts are trying to control themselves.
What does that mean? Explain a little more to me. I'm a bit dull. Explain to me.
The thing itself is controlling the thing. It is controlling itself.
What do you mean, it?
Your thoughts.
Go, explain to me. I told you, I don't know anything about it.
You're thinking in your mind that I should stop thinking.
Remember what he said? He said, there must be a controller.
It implies controlled and the controller in this division.
Now, yes. Who is the controller? That's my question.
Yourself.
Huh?
You're yourself. You're trying to control yourself.
Your image that you should be quiet.
That's partly it, isn't it? Go on.
Maybe the thing that's seeking the timeless state or something is saying, I must control my thoughts.
Thought is trying to be the controller and the controlled at the same time. It would seem.
You work it out. So, who is the controller? First of all, listen. My mind is chattering, right? And I hear you say to me, look, as long as it is chattering, you won't listen to me. You won't understand what I'm telling you. So don't let the mind chatter, right? So when you tell me don't let the mind chatter, I feel I must not let it chatter, right? So I say there must be the entity that says I must control my thought, right? Right? Are you listening to? Right? Are you listening to what I'm saying? Sorry, you're not. So, there is an entity which says, I must control my thoughts. Who is that entity? Is it will? You understand will? The desire to control. The desire which says, if I control my thought, I will see something more. Desire which says, I want to see more. I want to experience more. Are you following this? So that desire, which is the desire to see more, becomes the will, which says, that will says, I must control. Are you following all this? So, there is a controller and the controlled. So there is a division between the two, isn't there? As you pointed out. Where there is division, there is conflict, isn't there? I want to control, I want to be still, but my thoughts go off, say, by Joe, did I close the tap in my room? I rushed downstairs, I wonder if I'd shut it properly. So my mind wanders off. And the controller says, oh, don't think about that, be still. So there's a battle going on. Wondering if I close the tap properly and wanting to be still. Right? Most of the meditations are this battle going on all the time. You follow? I wonder if you understand all this. Have you got it? And you spend your life, days and days and days. I've known a man who has practiced this kind of meditation for 25 years. Every day, 3 times a day. Not fooling, you understand? You're absolutely wanting to control every thought. And poor man, at the end of it, he said, I'm exhausted, I don't know what to do. I haven't got the real thing. I've been spending my life in control. Now, if you see that, then is there a different way, a different approach to have a quiet mind? You see my question? Have you understood my question? Have you? If there is a controller and a controlled, then there is a constant conflict, right? Do you see that? And that's a wastage of energy. Right? Huh? Now, is there a different approach to have a mind that's completely quiet, without this battle?
Could be that to avoid this waste of energy, trying to, so that the controller and the control become one, so there is no waste of energy.
Now, how do you do that?
By not saying, well, I must.
Which means what? Go on, investigate that. Don't stop, investigate that. You said just now, the controller and the controlled must become one, right? How is that to take place?
Well, but by not dividing them both.
Who is dividing it?
Thought.
Therefore, what does that mean? Go on.
Thought must not take place.
No, go on, investigate a little more.
As soon as you exercise will, then if you exercise will, then you're making yourself, you're forcing yourself to control something.
So you are saying, are you, as long as there is exercise of will, there must be this conflict going on. Now my question is, listen, my question is, why does this division exist between the controller and the controlled? And is the controller not the same as the controlled? Gregory, what do you say? Look, I get angry. Then I say I mustn't be angry. Then I exercise will not to be angry, or control not to be angry. Now, is not the person who says, or the entity who says, I must not be angry, is anger itself?
So anger against the anger.
Yeah. So the entity who says he mustn't be angry and anger, that entity is anger. Only has divided himself negatively and positively. Right? Now, in the same way, the controller is the controlled, isn't it? No? Come on, this is your part of your education days. No, you don't see this. Now it's my job to explain to you till you see this. Till both of us see it, not just you. You understand? First of all, it is absolutely necessary to have a quiet body and a quiet mind. You see that? Because when the mind is quiet, it's full of energy, which is dissipated when there is conflict. Conflict exists when there is fragmentation. The controller and the controlled. I must and I must not. You understood? So where there is fragmentation, a breaking up, there must be a wastage of energy. And when the mind is completely still, in that stillness there is the summation of all energy. You see that. That is attention. Leave that. And there is no attention when I am trying to control a thought. That's a wastage of energy, because there is a fragmentation as the controller and the controlled. You've understood this? Huh? So how is the mind to be still without any effort? You see the problem now? If there is an effort, it's a wastage of energy. In that, effort is involved, the one who makes the effort over something, controls something. You understand? So, how is the mind to be quiet without any kind of conflict, control, and wastage of energy? You've understood the problem?
If a thought came in, when if you were sitting quietly and you wanted to, say, meditate, and a thought came in, instead of battling against it, just let it come, finish it.
Then what will you do? Go on, invest. You said that. Now how will you end it? How will the mind, a thought comes in, what will you do with it? What you said is right. Stick to it. Don't.
Instead of trying to throw it away or fight it, I'd go with it and see. Well, like if I had left the tap running, I would, go back and see if it was on.
Yes. So you'll go and close the tap, and come back and sit quietly. But another thought arises. By Jove, something or other.
Finish them all.
So what will you do?
Watch them all, not trying to throw them away.
That means every thought, you'll have to do that. You'll be spending your whole energy tracing every thought out. You understand?
But if they were...
Wait. That's important point to learn. Look, I'm sitting quietly and trying to be quiet. Suddenly a thought comes into my mind. Have I closed the tap? I'm not sure. I go and close it and come back, you follow, and sit quiet again. Another thought arises. I'm going tomorrow to London. I wonder where I should go to. You follow? Another thought. So thought after thought arises. What shall I do? Trace each one of them out? Let them all come in? That's a wastage of energy, isn't it? No?
Is it correct to say a thought comes in, or I, the thinker, am thinking? Because that's our usual concept, is that thinking comes from outside us, and it comes to us.
Does thinking come from outside? You understand our question? Are these thoughts the response to a stimuli from the outside? Yes. I haven't closed the tap. The water is running, I hear it, and I close it. So there are thoughts stimulated from the outside. There are thoughts arising from inside without any stimulation. Are you saying that? Or there are only thoughts from the outside.
Why do you divide the inside from the outside?
No, because Miss Green said, thoughts come from the outside.
I asked if it was correct to say they come in.
They come in. All right, they come in. Is it correct to say that they come in? See, I'm sorry, you asked for this. I didn't propose this, but you asked for it. So let's think it out. Do thoughts come in from outside? Or thoughts arise without any stimuli from the outside? Or are thoughts always from the outside imposed on the brain, and the brain holds them and projects them out as thought? Look.
In other words, there has to be a stimulus to be thought.
Huh?
In other words, to have thought, you must be stimulated.
Not necessarily.
Well,
Look, I'm going to show you something. Just listen to it. I see a mod. What am I? I am conditioned by the society in which I live, right? It says to me, it has been imposed on this mind that to succeed in this world, I must be greedy. It has been imposed on me, on the brain cells, right? That idea that I must be greedy. Now, is that, and when I'm greedy, is that greed imposed from outside or from within? Please go slowly with this. You understood my question?
Are you saying that the origin of thought is memory or the conditioning from the outside?
Partly, yes. You've understood? Huh? Come on, somebody, come on, sir.
It's the combination of the outside influence and response from the inside, which
Now, what is that response, Tunke, from the inside? Look, I have been brought up as a Catholic, or a communist, what you will. I have been educated from childhood. I've been taken to baptism, church, repetition of prayer. You follow? All that. That has been imposed from the outside. Right? And I say, I am a Christian. And I say that comes from inside. You follow?
Yes.
It has been imposed on the brain, and then the brain has accepted it. Then it says, I'm a Christian. Right?
So that's memory. Is it memory?
No. Is it from inside or outside we are discussing? Or, listen to this carefully, or there is only the imposition of the outside always on the brain.
And the brain keeps what it wants.
The memory. So has the brain any quality of its own which has not been imposed upon from the outside. I wonder if this is rather interesting. Right? You understand what I'm talking about?
Could we avoid the use of the word brain?
Huh?
Could we avoid the use of the word
All right,
brain?
mind. What would you like to call it?
Difficult because it immediately brings up.
What would you like to call it? So I don't mind. Any word. Look, the mind is conditioned. If you prefer that word. It has been conditioned by the outside environment, by the culture in which it has lived, and it has that conditioning, the memory of it all, the tradition, is contained in the brain, in the mind. Doesn't matter what for the moment. Now, then I say, I am a Christian. Thinking that's coming from inside. Right? It's really been imposed from the outside. Now I'm asking, is all activity of the brain, a mind, the imposition of the outside, and it responds to any challenge according to the imposition, according to the memories, according to the tradition, the culture. It responds to that. So, is there anything of brain which nothing has been imposed upon it?
Yeah, I think it's something absolutely immeasurable.
Wait. I want to find out. I wonder if have you understood what I'm talking about? Lais, come on. Brazil. Have you understood what I'm talking about? Have you understood, sir? It's very important to understand this, because you will see if we have really understood this, what it means to have a completely still mind. A mind in which nothing outside exists in it. Is that mind or brain empty, dull, vegetable? You follow? Or it has quite a different quality. This. What do you say, sir? You understand what I'm talking? Are we clear? Let's talk a little bit more about it. Look, you learn mathematics. Surely it's an imposition from the outside. Or geography, biology, chemistry. Information which you have accumulated. Right? Is there any action which is not the result of something being imposed on you? Hunger. Right? Is hunger something imposed upon you? No, it's a natural thing. Isn't it? Come on, sirs. Sex. Is anger imposed upon you? From the outside. Wait, listen, we are investigating, sir. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong.
But when you use impose, you mean force. When someone
No, put upon you. impinged, what? Influenced, told, informed. Is anger something from the outside?
Yes.
Or, wait, don't say yes or no yet. Or the image you have built about yourself, that image responds to a challenge which you think is not right, or somebody calls you a fool, and you respond to that, and you get angry. I wonder if you're following. Do please pay attention to this for a few minutes.
So just now you said hunger. I think quite often we say we're hungry when we're just greedy.
That's a different matter. That's a different matter. I'm talking hunger. Now, please, this is really important. Go into it with me. Let's talk about it. Let's share it together. Born in India or in Italy or in England, the mind is conditioned by the culture in which it lives. This conditioning is the result of the environment. What my parents do, they take me to the temple, to the church, tell me I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Protestant, or I'm a communist, or a Mao. And that constant repetition, propaganda, that influence, watching my parents, how they behave, what they do, all that is going on from the outside, right? And the mind and the brain or the mind is shaped. Say, well, I'm a Brahmin, I must do this, I must not do that. I'm a communist, I mustn't, etc. Follow? And is there anything in the mind which is not influenced, which has no tradition, which is not conditioned, which is neither Catholic, Protestant, Hindu, Buddhist, Communist, Mao, nothing? Or is it all the result of conditioning? Have you understood my question? What do you say?
As far as I can see, there isn't.
As far as you can see, Lai says, there is nothing which is not the result of the environment, of the culture in which it has been brought up. Then you're always acting, thought is always outside. Thought is the result of outside influence. Memories, the imagination, and so on. Is that what you're all saying? Don't be nervous. For God, we're exploring. You understand? If this is too difficult, let's drop it.
But why is it people, a twin who is conditioning the same thing, would in a certain time respond differently if it is just all the result of conditioning?
Oh, depending on their heaviness of their conditioning, the thickness of their conditioning, and so on.
So, that is something different which some mind or brain is easily imposed with a lot of conditioning and some not.
Look, Tunke, you and I are brothers. We live in the same family, same mother, same father. And yet you and I act differently. You think differently, you act differently. You don't get angry and I get angry. You are not so greedy, but I am ambitious, and so on. Now, you're asking, why is there this difference? Is that it?
Yes.
Why?
Well,
you've asked the question. Listen, you've asked the question. There is nobody to answer you. What will you do? How will you set about to find out the right answer, not invented answer? You understand? What's the right answer to that? We live in the same environment, right? Eat the same kind of food, the same parents, and yet there is difference between you and me. You are brighter, clear-eyed, full of energy. I am rather down. There are all kinds of answers to this, aren't there? The scientific answer being whatever they give, genes, not God knows what. There is Dr. Bohm, he'll tell you. Or, what's the answer would you give? The Hindus have an answer. They say, your past life dictates the difference between you and me. You understand? You and I, though born of the same parents, you have lived longer, more worthwhile in the past life, and I haven't. You follow? That may be the explanation, or may not be the explanation. Now, let's come back to this thing. Is all thought the result of the outside culture, environment, tradition, and so on?
When the thought is version, then it comes from the inside.
What?
Version.
What?
Virgin. Oh, it's virgin. She said when the thought is virgin, it comes from...
Is there a thought which is virgin? And of course not. Huh? All thought is the result of memory, isn't it? Are you tired of this? I am doing all the work, you are just listening. That's not good enough.
It's important to follow the nature of thought. I mean, how it happens that from the influence from the outside, I react and then throw it out when that same...
Now this is...
I mean, there's nothing but that. conditioning and then reality.
No, madam, just listen to my question. If this mind is the result of the culture in which it has lived, then all its activity, its thoughts are the result of this outside influence, outside conditioning, outside behavior. And is there a mind? What is the mind without all that?
Could one put it this way? If one sees that there is all that conditioned thinking, is that seeing conditioned?
Huh?
Is the seeing conditioned? The perception.
That is, the seeing of the conditioning is the freedom from conditioning. To see the conditioning is the freedom.
To see the conditioning requires the unconditioned, if you're seeing it.
So, is that seeing an imposition, an influence? So, see, go slowly, sir.
Well, that's it. If it is from an imposition, it falls into the field of conditioning. But something still sees that.
Wait, you're too quick. I'm dull, sir. Sorry. I must go very slowly in this. My mind is conditioned. The mind observes its condition. The seeing, it is conditioning. The very seeing is a state of mind in which condition doesn't exist. Is that what you're saying? Wait, let me get that first.
But I didn't say a state of mind.
Say the seeing is has no conditioning. Right? So the seeing is the state of the mind, or whatever it is, in which there is no conditioning, therefore there is no from the outside. So the perception is the total freedom from conditioning. Is that, No, love it up.
So your mind is capable, your thought or whatever, your mind is capable of only in perception to see the fact.
To see, wait, not to see the fact. I'm seeing is the faculty of the mind which has not been conditioned. Let's get that right.
So,
I don't say so. Please forgive me. See the fact of that, not the idea of that. You understand the difference? I tell you, and you say, that's right, it's an idea. But if you actually see it, it's not an idea. Do you see the difference? To observe without the observer, which is the conditioning, is the quality of mind which has not been contaminated, polluted. Right? And that quality of mind which observes without pollution is silence. Huh? Okay.
It has no content of its own. It is silent because it has no quality.
I'm saying that. So you see what we have been doing? Meditation means to make people control in order to achieve an end. The motive is to reach an end. Right? So the motive dictates the activity of the mind. The motive says you must control in order to. And so to reach that, you go through conflict, which is wastage of energy, destructive and so on, neurotic. Whereas we are saying the seeing, the observing is the factor in which there is silence and therefore freedom from contamination.
It means that the silence is already there.
Don't say, the moment you say that, you're already off.
Well, you have to put it into words.
I don't want to put it that way. It is already there.
I mean, it doesn't have to be achieved.
No. It's not a question, no.
And that's what I meant.
That's different. It's not a question of achievement. I see very clearly that to hear what you are saying, there must be attention in which there is silence. Attention is silence. Right? Then I can hear you. Then there is communication between you and me. But if my mind is chattering, not paying attention, then I may say, well, I'm listening to, but I'm not. So there is no relationship, there is no communication. Right? So there is only communication, relationship between you and me, when there is a listening out of silence. Listening with attention. That listening has not been polluted. Whether it existed before or not, that's to me irrelevant. The fact is, what is important is the fact of listening. I wonder if you know.
Yes, I understand now why
Yes.
I didn't mean to convey by already there, it has been.
No.
I really meant now.
No, that's right. Have you understood any of this? Or is all I'm talking Greek?
I wonder, in seeing that plant over there,
Yes, Tunke?
in it, is the mind chattering?
Huh?
I mean, in seeing a plant, it is. I wouldn't say it. The mind is chattering.
The mind
Is chattering. I mean.
Look, yeah. How? Now wait a minute, Tunke. You say in seeing that plant. How do you see that plant?
You see it. It is there.
What do you mean by it is there? Tell me. I'm blind. Tell me, what do you mean by saying I see that plant? Go on, Tunke, don't spend too long.
I have to get a feel of it.
What did you say?
Well, observe. You don't put any little bits of pieces or it is.
You observe.
Yes.
How do you observe it? With your eyes you see it, right?
Yes.
Then what? Go on. Do you say it's the name of the plant?
No.
The color of the leaf?
It doesn't register as color as such in the. It is. You see the different color, but it doesn't register as.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you.
Well, you see the different color between sort of your blues and that.
Yeah, red.
Yes. But you don't have the concept of color as in the spectra, or you don't have the scientific or whatever concept of it.
So you are looking at it, are you saying, without the color, without naming the color, but the color is there.
Yes.
Without naming it, the naming it would be the chattering, the saying that it is that species of plant, that would be chattering. So you are looking at it with complete attention. That attention being silence. Therefore, what takes place when you look at that, with that complete attention, what takes place? Nelson, do you look at that plant?
Yes.
With that attention, you understand?
Yes.
What takes place when you look at it with that attention?
A certain quality of silence.
Yes, but what is your relationship to that?
Well, I certainly don't judge it by any way.
Understood. You don't judge it, you don't waste any energy by description, by the name, by color. You just observe. Then what takes place? What is the relationship between you and that which you observe?
There is a certain feeling for the plant.
Go on, yes.
Affection for it.
Yes.
There's only that.
You're not looking for anything. She says there's no separation between you and the plant.
There's no separation.
What do you mean by the word separation?
There's not the plant and you. It's just...
You are the plant? Huh?
No, you don't
Wait. Are you the plant?
It's the whole thing. I mean, it's...
I don't know. Tell me. I'm listening. I want to find out. You understand what I've said? What you have said? When you look at it, there is no division, you said, didn't you? Between you who are looking and the plant. If there is no division between you and that, what takes place?
Sort of unity.
Huh?
I am the plant.
Oh, you are the plant?
So,
Oh my. Listen, are you the plant?
no.
Oh, obviously.
It's just the way of putting it. If I am my thoughts and the naming of it, then I'm obviously not the plant. But if I can call me, this silence, this action of seeing the plant, then there isn't this division between me and the plant.
There's communion. I don't know what that word means, but I mean it's...
No, you said that there is no separation, right? Right? Use that word separation. What does that mean? The word mean to separate, to break up, right? To divide. What takes place when there is no separation?
Isn't it relationship?
You are in tune with the tree. I mean, you are in tune. One is in tune.
What does that mean? I don't understand those words. You have to tell me what it means. Otherwise, I'm lost. Look, Tunki, I look at you and you look at me with that attention. You understand? We know what we mean by the word attention, looking, listening. So, I am listening, observing attentively to you. And you're doing the same. What takes place between us? She said there is no separation, right? Separation means division, breaking up. What does the word separate mean? So somebody help me out. I didn't look up the dictionary with that word. Separate two different things, isn't it? Huh? You are separate from me. Now, when there is no separation, what takes place? Go on, sir.
I think the separation, what that happens, is the very concept that there are two things.
What, sir?
The separation that we're discussing is not two things which are separate, but is the very idea that there are two separate things.
So what takes place?
There's only one thing.
What is that?
In my case, you.
Listen to what he said. Have you listened to what he said?
Yes, because when I look at you, there's just you, that's all. I mean, if there was two things at that moment, there would be separation. It would be me and you.
No. Have you listened to what he said? The moment you use the word separation, there is you and me. And when there is no separation, as she said, between that plant and myself, I'm asking you what takes place. You are saying, there is only you and not me. Is that it? Huh? Right? Have you understood that? Now, I'm saying, then what's the relationship between you and me, when you only see me?
Relationship can only be between two things.
What takes place between us? Or, I won't use this word between. Now what happens? When you are not, only me, this exists. What takes place?
So there's a relatedness.
The moment you say relation means two.
You just are.
Huh?
You just exist, that's all.
Is that all?
What is happening there?
I don't know.
Please, this is just go slowly, boy. This is important. No, I'm sorry, I'm going to stick to this. You are saying when there is no separation. Separation implies two different things. Two, you and me, separated by space, distance, time. face, color, all that. Now, you say, when I look at you with complete attention, you only exist, not me. Wait, hold to that. Just wait a minute. I only exist. What happens to you?
Seems like you're outside. No longer in here. No, there's no you anymore.
Huh?
There's no you anymore.
There's no you anymore.
Because of the attentiveness,
Huh?
your thoughts, which make the you,
Huh?
are not there.
Therefore,
You don't exist.
wait, pursue that. Because you are completely attentive, the thoughts which make the me is not there. Therefore, what is happening to you?
You're quiet.
You're quiet. Is that it? All right, I won't say no. Quiet.
Well, you're so quiet.
And I only exist, not you. Huh? I am the fact, and you're merely the observer.
It's not that I am quiet, but there's quiet.
Yeah, quiet. I'm quickly. There's quiet. There is quietness, and you see me in that quietness, right? Do you?
I can't say I see you.
No. Seeing.
Well, okay,
Don't seeing, observing, attentive. Now, when there is total attention, and I only exist as a fact, what takes place?
Love. Love.
You call that love. Maybe.
It's difficult to put into words. So.
Now, take a different thing altogether. You are angry. The fact is anger. And you observe it with complete attention. Listen, are you listening? Are you listening to this? You are angry. And with complete attention, you observe that anger. What takes place?
The anger disappears.
There is no anger.
Huh?
There is no anger.
Why do you say that?
Because if you're observing the anger, I mean, you're talking the anger inside you. You are angry. You observe the anger, and you can't observe anger if you are angry.
Therefore,
you aren't angry.
what happens? You say anger doesn't exist anymore. That's what you said just now. Quite right. Stick to it, don't be nervous. So you say, when you observe a fact, anger, you go beyond the fact. Therefore, anger is not. Right? I don't know if you're saying this from actuality or just theory. Now, when you observe me, when there is observation of this fact, what takes place? You go beyond me. You're free of me.
Do you mean there's no attachment?
Wait. Mrs. Imbliss asked me, what do you mean by free of me? What do you mean by that word?
Oh, you
Wait,
mean the image we have of you.
No, sir. The image you have of me. Wait a minute, I'm going to go in. When you observe anger with this complete attention, you say there is no longer anger, right? So there is freedom from anger, right? Huh? Of course. Now, I am the fact, there is observation of the fact. Observation of anger and the freedom from anger. And you observe, and there is an observation on your part, which is complete attention, and are you free as you are free of anger? Of me? Which I am the fact? The me, which is the me being your neighbor. You are independent, you are free, you do not depend on the neighbor, you are not attached to the neighbor, you are not what the neighbor thinks of you, doesn't think. You are. Is that it? That means what?
You just totally disregard him.
Huh? And just regard him? What do you mean just regard? Like a piece of wood?
You see him as a human being, that's it. Isn't it?
That's the concept.
You're following all this carefully? Very interesting.
A little green man appeared on the lawn and we observed him. We wouldn't take for granted he was a human being. What would be happening in that
Yeah,
observation?
that's what I'm asking.
You're just watching him.
When you are angry, when there is anger and you observe it with complete attention, there's freedom from anger.
So I don't think I understand that, sir.
Look, sir, I'm angry. And then I say, at the moment of anger, there is no division. I don't say I'm angry, there's just anger. Right? A second later, I say I'm angry. I've already said there is a division taking place, the separation has taken place. I am angry. You follow? So,
see the process there, but
wait, I'm showing the process. I am angry. I must not be angry. Or I reason why I should be angry. Rationalize it and so on. Now, when there is complete attention, then there is no anger. Because the observer is the observed.
How do you have anger being aware?
Huh?
How do you have anger being aware?
You can't be, if you are being totally aware at the moment of insult, there is no anger.
But if you're angry, then you're not aware.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
If there is only one entity, which is anger, where does awareness come in?
What?
How can awareness come into anger?
Only, oh my Lord, I must go into all this, right. At the moment of anger, I am not aware. Then later on, I separate myself from anger. I must not be angry. Then I say how silly I am. I am anger.
I was angry.
I mean, yes, please, I was, or There is no division between the observer and the observed. At that moment is awareness, not previous states. The moment I am out, there is a total awareness. The observer is the observed. Then there is an observation without the observer, and therefore can go beyond it. Therefore, as they pointed out, anger ends. Now, I am saying what takes place, please, when you said, you only exist, not me. Right? What takes place? Me exists. That means you don't exist. You don't exist. You existed before when you were attached to me, when you hated me, when you said you are a stupid man, I depend on you, I do this. Right? Therefore, you are free of me. Therefore, your relationship is entirely different with regard to me.
Could you repeat that? I didn't catch that.
Huh?
I didn't get that.
I have to explain that. Right. You didn't get that. He said, when there is complete attention, you are the only factor. I don't exist. Right? That's what he said. Now I asked him, what do you mean by that? That you exist only, I don't exist. That means I existed before when I was related to you, when I depended on you, when I wanted your companionship, when you, and so on. As long as I am dependent on you in very many ways, I was not free of you. So now you exist, I don't exist. Therefore I am free of you. I'm free of my dependence on you, my the demand for affection, all that. I don't exist. Then my relationship to you is entirely different, isn't it? It may be called love or whatever you use that word, it may be called that. Right? Is that what, or is this just an idea or fact? But be careful, is this an idea, a memory, or a concept which you have said, yes, by Joe, that is so, or is it a fact? That means, listen carefully, that means you don't exist. You exist only when you depend on me. If you don't depend on me, if you don't want my affection, my companionship, you are free of me. Therefore you don't exist. Therefore your relationship to me is entirely different. Right? Right. Now let's come back.
So, may I put a question? I'm observing you, sir, but I'm aware of, say, a physical pain. Now, that makes me aware of a separation between the plant, or you, the outside world, and myself.
You are aware, you have pain, physical pain, not psychological pain, you have physical pain. Now, what takes place? Either you say, I am pain, because you have identified, or you have identified with that pain, and say, I am pain. Wait a minute. And you don't want that pain is very... So you say, I'm going to a doctor. I'm going to take the pill or go do this or that. Is there a separation between you and pain? Or only pain? And then you may say, it is unbearable, I'll do something about it. Right?
Well, I don't like it, sir.
Yes, all the rest of it. I'm asking you, sir, when you identify yourself with that pain, the pain becomes much more intolerable. The same thing as when he observes me without him.
When he observes me,
he observes, I am the fact, and nothing else. Therefore he is free of me. But if he identified himself with me, then he is attached to me, the pain, and so on, so on, so on. Now, if you observe the physical pain, unattached, if I can use that word, then what happens? You can bear that pain. I don't know if you have noticed it. If you have toothache, and you observe it, without identifying yourself with that pain, you pay complete attention to that pain. But the pain remains, you can't go off because it has got all kinds of things involved in it. But in that total attention to that pain, the relationship between the observer and the pain is entirely different, of course, as in that case.
So what do you mean by identifying with the pain? What does it mean by identifying?
So look, I have a toothache. I don't observe it with complete attention. Then identification takes place with the pain. Of course, obviously. If there is complete attention, I can observe, there can be observation, I'll do something about it. It isn't I don't become hectic about it. I don't lose my head and shout, cry and all that kind of nonsense. I've got pain. I observe it. Now let's come back to what we were talking about previously, which is, are all thoughts the result of outside influence? And if they are, it is utterly futile to control them. You follow? Because the controller then is also part of the outside. I wonder if you see this.
We think it's a movement by doing that, but actually it isn't. It's the same.
Yes, it's the same movement. Right. Therefore, meditation is a state of mind in which there is only observation and nothing else. Because observation is not polluted from the outside, has no pollution at all. Or put it the other way, all pollution is conditioning. And the reaction to that conditioning is still pollution, is corruption. Whereas the observation of this conditioning, which is polluted, the observation is unpolluted. I wonder if you get this. That is complete attention. And meditation is that. Not all this controlling, going towards an end, wanting. You follow? So you try sometime sitting absolutely quiet, keeping your eyes closed, because if you keep your eyes open, you can do that later. I'm just beginning the beginning of it. Sit absolutely quiet. And when you are sitting quietly, be aware of your body. Aware in the sense, be conscious when it moves, when it twitches. When something itches, you immediately go and scratch it. And say, Bacho, let me still. If you keep still, that itching stops. So keep completely still. And the eyes still, which is quite, you follow, without movement. Now, from there, if that is possible, if you can do it, completely relaxed, not rigid. Then see if you can observe, give total attention, or be in total attention. And when any thought comes in, thought can only come in when there is no attention. I don't know if you're seeing all this. When there is complete attention, there is no thought. It's only when there is no attention, thoughts pour in. Right? Then you will say, how is the mind to keep that total attention all the time? Right? That's greed.
Could I ask something?
Wait, sir. That's greed. Saying, but you, that was an extraordinary feeling. I must have more of it. So if you can, even for a minute or for a few seconds, sit completely quiet with complete attention. In that attention there is total silence. And probably you can't maintain it more than a few seconds or few minutes. Let it go. You follow? Don't say I must have more of it. Let it go. And then come back. Come back, you understand? Be attentive. Then you will see for yourself where, when there is inattention, thoughts come in. Right? So you begin to learn. You're beginning to learn the movement of thought, not how to be totally attentive all the time. That's enough. Do you get all this? I'm sorry you asked for it. You all wanted this.
May I ask?
Yes.
In
I am not the authorities. I am not the Delphic oracle.
No.
So we are discussing.
The attention during which there is no thought, does it have any object? I mean, I found that a little...
No. No object.
There's no object.
So of course not. You see, from that silence, look. From that silence, act. From that silence, live. You see this for yourself. You have learnt it for you. You have learnt. Learning about something frees you to look. I wonder if you understand this. I learned how to take down a Packard. You know a Packard cars? The old cars. They were old cars made in America. Beautiful cars they were at one time. I took it all to pieces and put it together. I learned about it. And the learning about it is more important than the very doing of it. I wonder if you understand what I'm talking about. I think we better stop, isn't it? What time is it, sir?